T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff.
People all over the world are watching our Karen Read coverage. But before we get to that, in this episode of Top 10 Pithy Comments, we're going to take a look at what our viewers are saying to us.
Do viewers around the world really have their eyes on the Karen Read case? Let's see what some of them think. I'm Lainey Law.
Yes, they really do. I'm attorney Andrew Myers.
So today we're going to be taking a look at some of the comments you guys have been leaving us on our recent videos. You guys have a lot to say, and I really appreciate all the comments that we have been getting recently. I feel like this channel has been exploding, and we really appreciate you guys for that. So for our first comment today, we have an M7806, and they say, "Tell him Whitey Bulger stole your notes." And I thought this was silly and funny. But I also was curious, Andrew, do you, like, I don't know, I just think it's a little bit silly because a lot of people are shocked that he's on the prosecution side in this case.
Well, he started out, of course, as a prosecutor and then switched over to defense. But the context, I think, if I'm reading A&M correctly, is that right now pending, and it could order could come down at any second while we're doing this podcast. But the attorneys for the state, the prosecutors, top prosecutor Hank Brennan there, are trying to get not only the unbroadcasted, unpublished portions of what was on NBC, ABC, and in Boston Magazine, they're trying to get the unbroadcast, unpublished portions of TV shows and what was in the magazines, but also reporters' notes. And so I think A&M is advising the people that are fighting back, they have their own attorney, to tell Mr. Brennan, Whitey stole my notes. I think that's the context of that.
Oh my gosh. Do you think that there's going to be anything of value in the actual recordings? I know he's fighting to get them, but what do you think about that? And do you think it's going to be relevant?
I don't know. As a reporter, you know, the point in the previous podcast that we did about this was that there were redactions, and you and I went back and forth. If people haven't seen that episode, you can go back to it. The reporter and Karen Read were going back and forth, but there were redactions, and then when the redactions were clipped, they had changed the subject. Or sometimes David Yannetti, who was in the room with Gretchen Voss, would interrupt, and then they change the subject. So it's a mystery. It doesn't look good initially for Karen Read, but you know, she says that she's innocent. She says that she didn't do it, so she felt comfortable going against the standard advice of defense attorneys, which is don't talk to anyone.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting because we think about Karen Read presents herself as an intelligent, like, well-spoken woman, and it kind of was giving me a little like not like I not that what she said is reminiscent, but it reminded me of like Suitcase Sarah, how she just wanted to talk and talk and talk. And with Karen Read, because you know she comes off as an intelligent person, it's almost even more believable because it's like if she had done something, you would think that she would be scared that she would say something that would contradict. So it kind of shows that a level of almost sincerity and authenticity, the fact that she feels so candid as to feel comfortable having these extended conversations.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Suitcase Sarah and Karen Read. I mean,
the contrast.
Karen Read was a adjunct professor at Bentley University, and she also was a stock analyst. We're talking about a pretty brainy person here. Number 2 is from Donna Lembo. She's a regular. We see her frequently, and she says, I don't think Karen Read should have spoken to the media before her trial was finalized. Words can easily be manipulated or spun into a strong argument. against her, and you never know how that can influence the jurors. And I've actually talked to some clients that like to watch on YouTube. You can actually watch some interrogations in interrogation rooms with police prosecutors on one side.
Oh my
And
God.
then yeah, and it's interesting. I was talking to one of my clients, and they said they love to watch that and how stupid people are that go against their attorney's advice. Because, and I'm not saying that self-servedly, but the police are trained to ask the same question over and over and over. And they might ask it 14 times with slightly different words. And the first time you contradict yourself, out come the cuffs and the Miranda warning. So I agree with Donna.
Yeah, and I think that kind of ties back into what I was saying before, is like the camera, those corner cameras are always so funny, where it's like usually it's very clear that if you talk, it's going to be things are going to be extracted from that, or it's going to be twisted negatively. So to see someone with such a intelligent demeanor, so confidently talking, is, you know, interesting to see.
Yeah.
All right. So one gravity works. It seems all this is moot if she did not actually hit him. It is like they are scratching their left arm when their right leg itches. Could it be that they're trying to intimidate anyone that wants to cover this cluster? Beep. And bankrupt Karen. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people perceive this as. I think that, you know, the second degree, the thing is just like it escalated so much from like just something over being intoxicated to where now it almost, I think a lot of people are interpreting this as something that was personal. The fact that they didn't knock on the house, the fact that, you know, so many things just seem wrong. I think that the general public perception across the world, I think a lot of people, we get a lot more comments, I guess, basically saying this is a cover-up than comments saying that she's guilty. And both camps exist, and we're not saying one way or the other on this channel. But
and the other thing about this comment is that I think gravity is trying to tell us that, you know, they're trying to intimidate anybody that wants to cover this case. Well, you know what? The Boston media is a dog-eat-dog cutthroat group of people. I know. And so they're not going to stop anyone, you know, just because they're going after Gretchen Voss's notes and ABC and CBS's, you know, outtakes. No, that's not going to have anyone back off from this case. So we get to Melissa Owens, and we have a picture of John O'Keefe and Karen Reed in the bar. So her saying she sipped water in between her drinks and possibly understating her number of drinks doesn't tell me that she hit him with her car and changed the evidence of that or lack thereof. No offense to any lawyer, but if you are trying to nail her for DWI, sure, okay. But anything else? Nope. They were all drinking and driving. Motion denied. Well, Melissa, we wish you were the judge, but two really important points about this. One, you're right. It is a distraction. The whole thing is a distraction away from the facts. The fact that the ARCA experts who weren't paid by anyone said that John O'Keefe was not hit by a car, and also the Lexus did not hit him. So that's, I agree with you to that extent. However, let's remember that every time a witness goes on the stand in any case, I don't care if it's civil or criminal, their credibility is at issue. Their credibility is at issue. And whether you're in a civil case or a criminal case, the opposing counsel is going to do everything they can to hurt your credibility. And that's what this is all about. Did Karen tell different versions? Did Karen say one thing at one time and one thing at another time? So that's the clear danger here. That's the clear danger of what, if anything, is in all of those outtakes.
It's also just a disturbing picture, too, to have. It's just like, obviously, they're very happy together. And it's just like, I don't know. I mean, this whole thing just kind of sucks because, you know, DUI or not, she was also lost someone that, you know, she cares about. So the whole thing is just terrible. But our last comment on the Karen Reed case from Bina Chokma. which kind of sounds like it's trying to say something else. I know this is off subject, but when I hear the prosecution talk, I feel like I'm watching The Departed. Oh my gosh.
And probably most of our viewers, if not all of them, know about The Departed. It was a film loosely based on the mafia in Boston, the Winter Hill Gang in Somerville, which of course Whitey was a part of. And so, yeah, it was quite a film. Who starred in that? I forget.
Oh, I have no idea. I'm gonna have to look that up.
I'm trying to remember. That's the question for our commenter, is to stump Attorney Myers because he forgot.
Okay, I need to get the answer right now. Okay.
Okay, so let's
I
go
got the
on.
answer, but we're gonna let them comment and tell us.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not telling you.
I do know. It slipped my mind. It was a great movie. Anyhow, so now we switch gears and we go to the Kohberger case and the comments that we got. And Michelle, who's a regular, said this case is both frustrating and fascinating at the same time. I'm still angry about the house being destroyed because the jurors can't do a walkthrough. In my opinion, the trial date won't stick due to Ann Taylor continuing to not have enough time to review materials. So I'm going to break this down into two subjects that she raises. And I think we're all in agreement on this. All of our commenters, 95% of our commenters, do think it was wrong. And it's a little bit shady that house was torn down, because, you know, you can look at all the LiDARs and all the depictions and all the films and everything you want, but nothing replaces going to the real place. And I don't think go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say, like, the other day I was at a bar, and every time I left the restroom, it was just like carpeted, but I didn't realize there was like a slope, and I would like trip. And it's just things like that where you can't even see like an imperfection.
You were at a bar, really? Oh my,
scandalous! And you know what? I had 5 drinks over 5 hours. I'm out of control.
I'm sure you were just doing your research for this podcast. I'm certain that that's all it was.
It was, and you know, thankfully, part of my research, we're not going to have any upcoming trials. So you know, all's well that ends well.
Well, the other thing is, anybody in the audience who's ever looked for a house, you know, now, unlike, you know, a long time ago, now you can go online and look at the house. You can look at pictures that they take to make it look good. But anyhow, I've done that. I've looked at the things, and then I've actually gone to the place, and it, you know, the pictures that you see on Realtor.com or wherever, Zillow, they really don't give you a real feel for the place. You know, I mean, for example, I had to move. I'm having some computer problems, so I moved into my office today. That's why my face looks red, I think, because I have
this is a great setup for you. Comment down below what you think. Anyway.
Well, but my face is all red, and I think it's the lighting. I didn't get the lighting quite right, and B, my doctor said my cholesterol's back up, so I took niacin, and you're supposed to take that time release niacin, and I thought I did, but when you take anybody that's in the same position as me, if you take niacin, it flushes your skin temporarily. So between the crappy lighting and taking that, I look like I was out in the sun too long.
Well, I think this is a good level of saturation for your camera, but I hope they let us know in the comments. But also with the house thing too, and all these things you don't expect, even just something like if you walk into the house when you talk, is it echoing? Do you think like how well can sounds, you know, go around the house and things like that? It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
All right. So our next comment is from Caro. Bryan has never said he is innocent and that he didn't do it, only that he'll be exonerated. As I said from the beginning, he will challenge settled law. The Constitution lists all the facts. Now he's getting to the facts. Interesting. And, you know, that is something interesting about this case that a lot of people find surprising, myself included, is situations like this. Oh my God, I'd be crying, screaming every day saying that I didn't do it. And I think a lot of people are surprised that we're not having the classic, you know, defense talking and talking and talking and talking.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, we have to remember in every episode, this case is about Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana And, we have to remember that. And so the prosecution feels that it has a special duty. They've been talking to the families, and they feel that they have a very strong duty. The Idaho Attorney General's office is taking a more active role in this now. The Latah County prosecutors are kind of hanging on. But so this case has been ratcheted up. There's a new judge in the case, and he's made it known that he's not going to put up with a lot of baloney, I'll say. And also, Ann Taylor has a huge staff. I mean, as has been shown by the multiple motions she's filed on the DP and the multiple motions she's filed and the motions to suppress. So she's fighting not only for that, but she's really fighting against the DP. So whatever happens in this case in the trial courts, we're going to be hearing about, as Jay Logston guessed one time, for 28 years. So, and that's not an exaggeration, because we've talked about a Massachusetts case that went on that long. So,
and I think that's like one of the big things with these crazy cases is that there's so much stuff going on here and there's a reason that the world is watching. So we'll see how it goes. And I wanted to ask you, Andrew, we kind of moved past this, but do you think that trial is going to happen when they said it was going to next year? Do you think that we're finally sticking to a firm trial date?
My money would be on that, not the mortgage money, but at least the coffee money, maybe the lunch money, because, the thing is Judge Stephen Hippler, at the very first hearing, he talked to people. He said, well, we could have it this time, we could have it that time. And he asked for all of their opinions. And then, a few days later, he issued his order, the scheduling order, saying it's going to go. We're going to start picking the jury in late July of 2025. And then we're going to have the trial starting in early August. So that's the schedule. And remember, he made a comment about, we work overtime when we have to. We work weekends if we have to. So I think he was telling them, you were here. You participated in selecting the trial date. It. It's pretty far out at this point. So yeah, if I were a betting man, which I'm really not, I would bet that it probably, barring some circumstance that we don't know about, it's gonna. I would say people better have their reservations made to do it. So let's see. The next one is Craig Black. I wasn't sure if I used to know a guy by that name, but I'm not sure if it's him or not. If it's you, hey, what's up? If it's not you, hey, what's up? Craig Black says, if it's not him, then who? If I was a juror, I would want the defense to tell me this. Well, I hear this all the time. I heard this in the Murdoch trial when he was making his feeble attempt to say, it wasn't him. I mean, maybe Martians came down from another planet, but no, Mr. Murdoch, it was you. It is not the defense's job to tell you who did it. The defense's job under the Constitution of the United States is to raise reasonable doubt. That's all the job is. And there's I'm kind of glossing over it and summarizing it, but there's a very specific, lengthy jury instruction that tells the jury that, it's not the job of a defense attorney to tell you an alternate theory or to prove an alternate theory or even to bring an alternate theory up. The defense attorney's job is to show that there are reasonable doubts. So that's my first comment about it. And the second comment is, I think a lot of things happen in the jury room despite all the instructions. And so I don't know about this one. I mean, there's the camp of people that say it was the other Bryan. There's people that say, there's all kinds of theories, and this is a legal channel. And we get, well, didn't you hear this? Didn't you hear that? Didn't you hear it was the frat boys? Didn't you go onto this channel and hear? Yeah, we've heard it all, but that's not what this podcast is all about. We're about the legal side of it. And so it would be hoped by any trial attorney, especially a defense attorney, that the jury would listen to the instruction that that is not the defense's job.
Yeah, and I think from a layman's perspective, like if I were on that jury, I would be able to interpret it that way, because you got to think the defense is there to say I didn't do it. The defense can't say they did it over there, because ultimately, if the defense in any situation is innocent, then if there was someone that was smart enough to figure out who it actually was, then that would have been the person on trial. The professionals have come to the conclusion that the defense is who they're bringing to trial. If the defense isn't going to be like a police officer that can say, oh, well, we have the evidence that it was this person, this person, this person. They're just going there and saying, I didn't do it, basically. They're not going to be the forensics experts trying to figure out who actually was the ones that did it. All right, number 2. She has been trying to remove D, or should I say she is against DP all around, and I think she may be trying to do it here, starting with the BK case. She has made this known from the beginning, and I mean, I think, I think that's fine for any attorney. I think that, ultimately it's something that a lot of people feel really strongly one way or the other for, and I think that as an attorney, you're never going to want your clients to face that situation, especially if it's something that goes against your morals. And if it's something that goes against your morals and you feel like you're in a position of power enough to make a difference about it, they're going to try. Ultimately, I think that a lot of what we've seen is her just kind of going through the motions, because as the defense, you're never going to want your client to have that even as an option on the table. So is she necessarily trying to make long-standing differences? I don't know, but I also think that she's doing everything that she should be doing and trying to stop it from happening.
Well, a lot of legal observers, and all due respect to our non-legal viewers for making the comments that they have, but most of the legal observers were kind of wondering why she brought them at this stage, because the purpose of a trial court, in this case the 4th District Court in Idaho, is to try the case and follow the law. If you are a district court judge or a trial court judge, your job is to follow the existing law, not to make law. And so Judge Hippler wrote a 55-page order, well-reasoned order, that kind of shot down Ian Taylor's thoughts one by one, based on the law. Now, if Mr. Kohberger, and I'm saying if, because we have a lot.
We don't know. Yeah,
we have a lot of commenters that, how could you assume?
We don't have a magic ball.
No, I don't. My crystal ball it's in the drawer back there. It's broken. If he is convicted, then she will appeal on a bunch of different grounds, but also to change the Idaho law. And then if the Idaho court doesn't go along, there's always a constitutional issue that can go up to the U.S. Supreme Court. And they have weighed in on the death penalty, but who's to say they won't decide to weigh in on it again? So our last one, number 1, is Lucy. I don't understand why this channel doesn't have more subscribers. I love the way you break down the law so we can understand exactly what is going on with various cases. What's GB? Great Broadcast?
Maybe. If their name wasn't Lucy as their profile name, I would have thought that they were signing it, but I'm not sure.
God bless. That's what it means.
God bless. God bless.
God bless. That's what it means. And Lucy, I've said that, we're trying to get there. Tell all your friends, your enemies, your neighbors. I've said that if we don't get 10,000, and I know there's podcasts that have tons more than that, but if we don't get 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year, I'll eat a Christmas tree. So please,
he means it.
please. So thank you.
Yeah, and I do want to say definitely thank you, everybody who has been checking out our channel. And a lot of people have been leaving comments and saying that they watched till the end. We really appreciate you guys. It means a lot to us. Our channel, it was so funny when we first started doing this podcast. We struggled and struggled tooth and nail for 200 subscribers. And and we're so fortunate at this point. We're very lucky to be able to post a video, and sometimes one video might even get 200 subscribers, and we've definitely have been exploding in subscribers this past month. So thank you everybody who does share our content, who does watch to the end, and who does comment and share their opinions.
Now Lainey, you started 2 weeks ago with the Blue Dolphins. If you watched all the way through, go with the Blue Dolphins. And then this last week, what was it? I forget.
We had apples. We have
apples.
One that's not published yet.
So it was dolphins, and then it was apples. What are you going to ask people to post this week?
I think that I've been seeing a lot of my clients have been feeling gloomy. I don't know if it's the holiday stress or what. So I'm going to say everybody comment sunshines, because I think the world needs a little bit more sunshine. The people that you see in the world, be sure to be kind and to show them love and to try to be the sunshine in their life, because I think a lot of people are not feeling good right now. So
why am
trying
I
to make
hearing
everybody
that
feel
song
good.
by the Beatles? Here Comes the Sun. Why am I
Here
hearing
comes the sun. Leave a comment in
So-
our comments down below.
Leave us
It's
a
all
sun.
right.
So nobody wants me to sing. People are watching the Karen Reed case all around the world. People are watching the Karen Reed case all around the world. I just mentioned we have no bones about who we are, where we are, what we are. We're a smaller channel. We're really hoping to get 10,000 by the end of the year. But even with a small channel like ours, we get comments from all of these countries, some of them multiple. Well, I've had multiple comments that I've seen from Australia and New Zealand. We had one from Wales, a couple from Scotland, a couple from Ireland, a bunch from England. I would say probably 4 or 5 from the Netherlands, 1 or 2 from Germany, a bunch from Canada. Hey, good to see you up there in Canada. Then when we mentioned some of these last week, Mexico chimed in. I got one. So as you comment, tell us where you're from. Of course, all over the United States. All over the United States, East Coast, West Coast. Our friend Yoli chimes in from California. I was going to ask you this before we went on, so I didn't ask you about this before, Lainey Law. It's part of the United States, but a couple of people were very adamant about telling us they're viewing us from Puerto Rico.
I saw that. I thought that's awesome.
Yeah.
And well, I don't know. I mean, so even though Puerto Rico is technically part of the United States, they should get their own little dot because the Puerto Rican experience is quite different than growing up in the US in general. But I think that's awesome. And I'm from Puerto Rico for those who don't know. So hello from the Northwest Coast for anybody that might be in the Aguadilla area. If you're in San Juan, Ponce, or anywhere else in Puerto Rico, hello.
Yeah, I've had an office in the Merrimack Valley of Massachusetts for several decades now, and I've had a lot of clients that are from Puerto Rico, many of them. And in fact, I have extended family that is from Puerto Rico, and they're very proud people. They're very proud of where they came and that they're here and they've done so well. And many of my clients who are Puerto Rican have done very well for themselves. And so, all right. So I don't know if do they get a dot next time, or because it is part of the United States. But
I would give them a dot because I think there's a lot of substance, like to how you say that they're proud of how they've gotten there. Because growing up, the experience in Puerto Rico was so much different. Like you go to school, a lot of these schools, you don't have hallways; they're just buildings out in the open. So if it's raining, you got to get through the rain to class to class.
Yeah.
There's people don't really like the power goes out twice a day. The power's going to go out at 3 p.m. Power's going to go out at 11 at night. It's going to rain 2 times a day. Hurricane season, things shut down for like a week every year. It's definitely not the traditional American experience. There's a lot of lack of convenience. So when they get to the States, when they're able to save up, get a place, it is it's a sense of accomplishment. That's what most generations, my grandparents wanted to move to the US, and then they had the luxury of going back. And it's just like, your graduation step. It's like people graduate college. It's like leaving the island. It's like, oh, I can provide for my family and send money back, Similar to, I think, like the more similar to a Mexican experience than the classic US experience, I would give it.
So, no matter where you're from, let us know where you're commenting from, because, we get a lot of comments from Massachusetts as well, we would expect. But I was surprised that we're a growing channel. We're trying harder than the rest of them. I'll put it that way.
We're hustling.
I will thank these people. And even if you're on this list, let us know where you're commenting from if you have time. And if you're not on this list, let us know. Now, Thailand has an asterisk because the other countries, people were in the comment section. I have been watching some musicians over in Thailand. They're so talented. They really are. And I have the gremlins who are behind us here have reposted some of our episodes on Facebook, on a couple of different channels on Facebook. And I thank people on those channels for, allowing us, because sometimes you post it and they don't allow you. But I want to thank all the people on the various Facebook pages that we have posted our episodes on. And a couple of times, 2 or I think 3 times now, one of these musicians who I follow them, but now they're following me on Facebook. And so they haven't commented, but like I think 3 times now, they've given us a thumbs up from Thailand. So thank you. I think you folks are really incredible, talented. And I wish you the best. All of you, I know you switch bands and you switch groups, and some of you are going to be in Toronto. And I wish you all the best. I really do. I think you're really incredibly talented. So,
and what is the name of that band, and can we tag them in the description?
Oh, there's a bunch of them. There's and they switch bands. They're all one week they'll be in one configuration, then the next week they'll be in another configuration, and they kind of switch around and go back, and they go to Switzerland and France and compete. But the one band I really like, and they switch members every now. Queen on Street. If you have not seen them, check them out. Having said that, so we're doing Sun. We're doing Sun this week.
We're doing Sun, and I was gonna say the way that Andrew wants you guys to share our videos is how he shares that band. He's like, "Oh, check them out, show your friends." So we're doing Sun this week, and also he's not in Korea right now, but we have our little Korean fellow Zuko over here. One of our viewers, he wanted to pop up and say hi at the end. So
okay. Now that I don't know if I can do this, but Lily's here. She's taking a nap. See, no, we can't. I don't know. I don't have enough wire.
I don't know if. I see her a little bit. We see her ear, kind of. We see her in the corner.
That's Lily on the floor. See her. So now, we're gonna have a little birthday party for her. We're gonna
have to celebrate.
She's turning 14 a week from now, and yeah, we'll mention it and give her a little cake next week.
I'm so excited. We're gonna have to bring gifts for her.
Yeah,
little puppy party. But thank you guys, everybody, from wherever you are in the world. And like Andrew said, if you made it this far, please leave a Sun in the comments. My jaw has been on the ground with the amount of support and people making it to the end. And I think it's really cute to give the emojis too, because sometimes we have people that watch to the end and they might not say anything, but I think it's cute when you guys just leave the comments. And then it also kind of, I like seeing the same names pop up, and when you leave comments, it kind of, even though a lot of the times it doesn't feel like you're part of anything in the YouTube world, we do see your comments, and it means a lot to us.
Okay, have a great week. Thank you. When you comment, remember, I always give the same speech every week, but it's even more important every week because we're getting fewer and fewer outright, really nasty comments and personalizations. You can say whatever you want about either one of these cases, but I really don't like name calling. I know how you feel about the DA and the judge, but say it in words. Don't call them names. I know there's other sites out there where they have their colloquial little names from. Tell us why you feel that way. Don't a 5th grader can call names on the schoolyard. This is a legal channel, and we want you to tell us why you feel that way. Otherwise, have a great week.
Have a great week, guys. And going back to that, I do want to say thank you guys for being nicer, because one of the first things when we started the podcast, Andrew told me was he's an attorney and people don't like attorneys, and some other for the first few months, all our comments were mean. So thank you guys for being nice, and we'll see you at the grocery store. Bye.
Whether you're in the grocery store, the gas station, or anywhere else, please remember to be kind to people. You don't know what they're going through. And the same goes for our comments section. We want you to comment, but be nice, be kind, be positive if you can. And thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Have a good one.